All right. Happy Monday morning. Time now is 10:40 a.m. This is the second live that we're looking at. Here's the full graphics here. We are tracking severe weather moving through the low country this morning. And right now it's up in the Midlands, and a lot of those severe thunderstorm warnings have expired over the last, I'd say 30 minutes or so. We are in a lull of activity here, which is good news. But we are going to be in the wait and see mode here as we get into the next, 2 to 3 hours as we start getting to what we expect to be the peak of this potential severe weather event here. Storm Prediction Center still has us in the enhanced risk, a 3 out of 5 risk for strong to severe weather. Thank you everyone for joining up. I'm keeping up with you guys and your comments here. Walterboro, St. George, Dale, Debbie, Eve, Cheryl, Albie, Shannon, good morning, good morning. We got Monk's Corner, Ladson, St. George, Walterboro, Islandton. Good morning to you. Thank you all for joining. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down anything that's changed. It's been since about 7 a.m. since we had a live, and we were going to wait until we got another warning issued. We do want to talk about the tornado watch that has been issued for the low country here. And that's going to be for Carleton County and portions of Dorchester County as well. So we have some movement here. So Walterboro, you are under a tornado watch. Tornado watch. Now what this means is that the conditions are there. The ingredients are there for potential tornadic thunderstorms. It's not active, it's not there yet, but the National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center, thinks that the ingredients are in place. So any thunderstorms that are popping up or moving through this area, we have to watch them because the ingredients are there. Same thing with Dorchester County. That goes until 2 p.m. Till 2 p.m. this afternoon. That's how long those two tornado watches go for. Again, a watch is not a warning. Tornado warning means that a tornado is imminent or radar indicated. A watch means that things are starting to move up here. So let's check the radar here. Let's check what we got going on. Let's do a quick look at the forecast. Anyone with any questions, I encourage you to put them in the comments section. Thank you everyone for joining up. We got Wes, Ashley, Nichols, North End of Mount Pleasant. We got Michelle, Pamela, Shelby, Kathleen, Catherine, Rose. Everyone is here. St. Stephen, Allendale County, James Island, Somerville, Santee. Thank you all for joining up. All right, so let's break down what we have going on for today. So, Storm Prediction Center, 3 out of 5 risk. Enhanced risk for severe weather still exists for the low country, and that includes counties going all the way from Carleton County up through Georgetown and Williamsburg County, Dorchester, Berkeley, and Charleston County, all in enhanced risk for severe weather. Looking at the wind graphics here, we are going to be seeing that high wind threat with some of those isolated thunderstorms that come through. Something that could play spoiler here. And we have, yes, and we're seeing this play out right now. It's that cloud cover. I want to show you something. Look at these temperatures. We are barely out of the mid-60s right now. That's exciting. If we can keep temperatures below 70 degrees, we could really hamper severe threats going into the next couple of hours. Now, if we start getting some sunshine, as I say that, Walterboro has popped up to 70 degrees here. If we can keep things below 70 degrees up through this afternoon, that's going to be a big hit to the severe weather potential. So we're going to watch that carefully. That would be a big deal for us if we can keep that going. So let's talk about some ETAs here. Nikki wants to know, what's the ETA on storms in Monk's Corner? So the latest model guidance at this point is pointing at here in the next 3 hours. Whatever potential we have for severe weather is going to have to be in the next 3 hours. So 11 o'clock shows maybe a few isolated thunderstorms popping up, but I think our big potentials when this line, which right now is hanging out just to our northwest, 1, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. So I think between 1 And 3 p.m., 1 o'clock to 3 p.m. is going to be our best chance for severe weather. 1 o'clock for Carlton County, 3 o'clock for Georgetown County. So 1 o'clock, it's about noon, 1 o'clock, moves through the low country. So that gives a timetable for Somerville, Charleston, Georgetown. And at this point, the severe weather is starting to run out of time here. It's only got about 3 hours before it runs out of space here. Cold front's going to be pushing offshore. And the severe weather, these thunderstorms, if they don't get the proper heat, they're never going to fire properly. We get cloud cover. I mean, we're almost looking at fog in portions of the low country this morning. So that's good news. So we're going to hang on to that. We're going to be cautiously optimistic about this for now. Cautiously optimistic. But for now, we need to assume, because the Storm Prediction Center, National Weather Service still has the tornado watch in place, Storm Prediction Center still has that enhanced risk for us. We need to assume that they're looking at data that shows that we're probably going to get a little bit of an uptick here as we head towards the afternoon. So we're going to kind of keep that going. So having that said, I'll keep my same parameters here. Storm Team 2 is going to keep the same parameters. Severe weather outlook here, 70-mile-per-hour winds being possible with some of these severe thunderstorms. So this is within the severe thunderstorms. This isn't just everywhere. This is going to be within severe thunderstorm warnings. A low to maybe medium risk for an isolated tornado. Some of those could be long track if we can get the proper ingredients put in place. Low chance at this point. We just don't have the cape value. We just don't have the lift. The cape, the fuel. We need fuel available to these thunderstorms. And as long as we're keeping our temperatures in the 60s, none of that's going to be happening. We're not going to get those big booming thunderstorms that we need for large hail. So I got that as a low threat. Flood threat, that's going to be low to medium. If you got heavy rain moving through the low country, you just can't discount it. You can't discount it. It's going to be something you have to talk about. So the thing, again, we're watching are these current temperatures here. Because if we can't get those above 70 degrees as we approach 11 o'clock, that severe weather forecast is going to plummet. Beth says, so basically we're good. Have a good day, everyone. I wish that were so. We're still, until that line moves past us, until we get this line beyond us, we're so close. I mean, we're so close here. We have that tornado watch that goes until 2 o'clock, so we have some time. And there are some storms that are still popping tornado warnings up in North Carolina, so the threat still exists. We're still there. We have a little bit to go here. This line right here. As long as this line has not moved through yet, can't celebrate just yet. If we can get this line through here and get the dry air and dry cold air behind that front, once we get past beyond that front, our severe threat's going to go into the basement. So that's the good news. We're going to keep an eye on that and those conditions as we go into this afternoon. So the rest of the state of South Carolina, we've had reports up in the upstate of roofs being blown off, a potential tornado up east of Greenville, heading just through the upstate, and that has since dissipated. So that's the good news with that. But there are crews being sent out that direction, not from us, but from our sister stations up there. We do have that tornado threat still in place. They're holding it in place. 10% risk for isolated tornadoes still exists for the low country through this afternoon. That's going to be the same deal with the wind threat. In fact, the wind threat's the highest threat that we're looking at. We get a little bit break in the clouds here. We could be looking at that. All right. Pull up I'll show you the visible satellite here. So why are we showing this? Well, this is important because this is showing our potential for heat to start moving through. Got a lot of cloud cover, and I'll pause this here. This is so important to how this forecast develops. So See these little breaks in the clouds here? So here's Charleston, here's Colleton County. See these little breaks in the clouds here? This is breaks in the clouds. So all this is cloudy weather out here. But you get these little breaks in the clouds here, that allows for surface heating. If that breaks up a little bit more over the next hour, game on. All right? We're going to adding heat to the atmosphere, adding fuel, and these storms will come right back to life. So we can see that it's starting to break up a little bit. Let's get a live shot. Let's look out towards Somerville. See what we got going on out there. So right now, it's partly cloudy. You have some clouds out there, but it's starting to break up a little bit. If we have even more of a breakup here, that's when we need to start really paying attention. But if we keep this cloud cover, in place, that will dramatically change our forecast. Dramatically. Columbia wind 3 to 10 miles per hour. Tommy's got us our wind report in Columbia. Somerville. Let's see. Roughing is good right now. Thank you, Manny, so much for that. It's very windy here in West Ashley. And what time are we getting heavy thunderstorms? If we do, I'd give us between the 1 and 4 p.m. time frame. 4 p.m.'s being a little liberal with that. I could even say 1 to 3 p.m. If we don't have those heavy thunderstorms moving through, or when those heavy thunderstorms move through, it should be between 1 and 3 p.m. Once you get beyond that, that front's pushing offshore. The main driver, the energy, the upper part of the atmosphere, and the warm front and the warm sector that all these thunderstorms need to fire off in, that's going to be pushed offshore, and then we're done. The threat is over. So we have a limited amount of time here that we're going to have to focus on this. And right now, it's looking pretty good. So Joanna says, I think we got a little taste of it last night around 11:30. Wind almost pushed us off the road. Yeah, Joanna, we had a severe thunderstorm warning late last night, that moved through the central portion of the Lowcountry. And so those are some of the ingredients that National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center were worried about that's been building in this area. But we'll have all this gasoline, we'll have all this potential, but if you can't get the daytime heating, then that's kicking off. So I have bowling tonight at 6 p.m. Are we done with it? I think we'll have some windy conditions, Victoria, but I think for the most part, the severe threat should have moved on by 6 p.m. This evening. All right? So let's check some of our models here. Let's push this forward. So the HER model has us have those isolated showers and thunderstorms, a few of them ahead of the line as we get towards noon today. We'll see if those hang on. And it has that line pushing through eventually with great effort through about 3 o'clock. Once you get beyond 3 o'clock, you notice, yes, we have some heavy showers and maybe some gusty winds, but the severe threat's over. The potential for all those things we just laid out, the high wind gusts, the tornadic potential, even the small hail potential, all that out the window by the time we get to 4, 5, 6 o'clock this evening. It's moving on. It's going offshore. Our potential is done after that. Columbia, thunderstorms and tornado watch. Beth, thank you for joining us. Somerville is cloudy and sun peeking through at times. Yeah, that's what we're watching. That's sun. If we start seeing more of that sun in the next hour, that's what we're watching out for. By the way, in the middle of North Charleston and Somerville, South Carolina. When do you think it'll hit Dorchester Road area? Dorchester Road's a little specific. Can we do Dorchester County? I can do Dorchester County for you. I think we're looking at maybe 1:30 or so, maybe 2 o'clock at this point. We're starting to hone in on this. So whatever we're going to see, maybe it won't be as bad, but it goes through probably about 1:30, 2 o'clock for Dorchester County and portions of Charleston County. Right? So while you guys are on the stream with me, we're about to go live on Midday, News 2 Midday, and I'll have to do a few hits with that, and you guys will just be along the ride with me as I do that. It should be interesting. So we're gonna keep things rolling here and keep talking about some of the conditions that we're going to be looking at here. So as we look at the Vipercast, let's check temperatures again. Okay, starting to see a few 70s peek in there. No, it is not. It is Brant. All right, so we are looking at 70 degrees Monk's Corner, 70 degrees up towards King Street, 70 degrees for Walterboro. Right? We have those mid to upper 60s along the shore. If we don't start getting those temperatures in the low to mid 70s by about 11:15, that's going to be tough to recover from, forecast-wise. So, yeah, those current temperatures really, really something. Winnie is afraid of thunderstorms. Yes, we'll probably have a few thunderstorms at this point. We're trying to determine whether those are going to be of the severe category. I'm happy we finally got some rain. Pollen Blaster 843. Yeah. How about this? Just a good pollen washer at this point. We can use that. Santee, Orangeburg, Clarendon. Annette, welcome. So the big picture here is that we have a severe threat for almost the entire East Coast here. This goes up all the way to New York. There's a big section of the country now. Here's Lowcountry down here in Charleston. We're in the enhanced risk. North Carolina, Florence area going up through middle portion of North Carolina up to Virginia. That's where we have that moderate risk. All the way up to Pennsylvania. And the slight risk goes all the way up to the upstate New York, Binghamton area, up to Buffalo. So from Buffalo, New York, all the way down to, looks like Tampa Bay, is a severe weather threat for today. It is a large area that we're talking about of potential. I'm going to go ahead and bring up this graphic here and talk if these thunderstorms are verified, and that's a big if at this point. We can't get the clearing. It's not going to happen. Period, end of story. It's just not going to happen. There was a lot of thoughts that the clouds would clear. It's going to be tough. Hopefully we're seeing this dissipate at this point. But unfortunately, if the clouds clear out, even now, even at this late in the game, the clouds start to clear out, it's game on, and we're going to have to really pay attention. And then these threats are right back on the board. So we're racing to the finish line here with all that. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Those dew points, this is the moisture in the atmosphere. No problem with that. Mid-60s, that's plenty of moisture. Muggy conditions out there. That front comes through, those dew points are going to drop, and the fuel for these thunderstorms goes with it. So that's why we want this front to come through before we can get any heating. If that front delays at all, that puts us kind of in a tough situation. So far, the analysis we're looking at here, pull up the radar reflectivity. So this is a big mess out here right now. We got a tornado watch. So okay. All right, so we're about to begin the show. So you guys will be an audience to that as we start the show. So if I'm silent, it's just because I'm waiting for cues and whatnot. And then once we get past the hit that we have at the beginning of the show, we'll go right back and go ahead and do all of this because there's a lot we got to get to with this. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging on for that. So that was basically that's what we call a head nod. We're just entering the show, and they pull us all up in boxes, and they say, hey, this is team coverage, and we're actually going to be live talking about this with Jed Kristoff, meteorologist Jed Kristoff, who is downstairs right now putting together this forecast. So let's go ahead and bring this a little bit closer here. So the only two places right now that have a tornado watch in place, that's going to be Dorchester County, and that's going to be Colleton County. And that goes only until 2 o'clock. So we're coming up to that pretty quick. That's only 3 hours. We can hang on for that long, for 3 hours. All this rain that's popping up right now ahead of the line, this is sapping the energy of the atmosphere. It's basically cleaning up some of the energy and taking it away from thunderstorms in the future. So we like this. This is a positive trend. So that's what we're doing. Cool shelf waters with inshore airflow strikes again. Clouds are moving fast aloft. Just took the pup out before the rain. Yeah, those clouds are booking it, right? So the ingredients are there. We have the high winds aloft that are prompting all of this forecasting buzz, because you get all you need is pretty much a really good downpour, and that's going to bring those higher winds to the surface. And then you have those severe thunderstorm warnings. Hey, Brant, win for Jedburgh. Christine, thank you so much for joining. Jennifer, Renee, I live on the third floor, so I think you'll be okay. Hi, Brant, did we get a severe thunderstorm warning last night? Yes, we did, Victoria. Yes, we did. We had a severe thunderstorm late last night that moved through the Lowcountry. A boomer with some small hail, in fact, that moved through portions of I-26 last night. Kat says, got you on the phone and Jet on the TV. Double informed. Betty, I'm in Somerton. Is it going to be bad here? So this is going to be the question that we are going to be talking about big time. I want to point out something to you. I got a lot of stuff I'm kind of putting down. I had to have like minimize bars, bring up stuff. This thunderstorm west of Santee, this is the first indication I've seen of signs of life. This is important right here. So you notice you get a little bit of that heavy downpour, show some strengthening starting to take place. So this is within the tornado watch area, and every single one of these thunderstorms that show any sign of life, we have to watch it like a hawk. Because if it reaches a certain level of maturity, it's going to lock into some of the other ingredients that are active in the atmosphere. And it could happen quick. We're talking 10 to 15 minutes from something that doesn't look all that impressive to boom, you have a severe thunderstorm warning. So that's one that's being watched right now as it's moving through areas just to the northwest of Holly Hill and north of Harleyville, Reevesville. Now, right now, we just have some showers moving through our region. These are non-threatening as of right now. Seabrook Island getting some heavy showers. I don't think there's even lightning with these. Yeah, no strikes being detected from those. Kiowa getting some showers right now. These are non-severe showers. These aren't even thunderstorms technically. We're just looking at a few showers that are moving. Now look at the thunderstorms just offshore. That's impressive, but that's way offshore. So we are sandwiched between two areas of active weather, low country weather here. We got the threat of severe weather off to the west, and then we have strong to severe weather just offshore here. And here we are, right here, sandwiched between the two areas of thunderstorm activity. This is worth paying attention to, though. These little thunderstorms that pop up in between here could have some bite to it. I'm watching this storm particularly. That's just to the west of 26 here as it's approaching Santee and 95. So if we play it through, you'll notice that the thunderstorms are moving southwest, kind of a southwest to northeast direction. So if this were to continue, I think Williamsburg County is the only area that needs to be kind of watching this thunderstorm as they move off to the east-northeast. This is moving kind of in an east-northeast direction. So it may even clip us just to the north, missing Williamsburg County just to the north. But that's the only one I'm really watching at this point. I think that one has a little bit of potential. And we have more thunderstorms starting to come up. They're trying to cross the Savannah River And I'll be honest, these thunderstorms out west here do not impress me. This is not an impressive line. It's not organized. It doesn't have any lift to it. Doesn't show any signs of life. It's just kind of applesauce. It's a pancake of activity. It's really just flat. Not really a whole lot of vertical development in those showers. Now, that could change in just a few scans, but right now, not all that impressive. We like that. We're going to see if we can hang on to that by the time that line starts moving through Carlton County, the Beaufort area, Dorchester County, so on and so forth. And we have some slightly stronger storms. They're just in northwest. They're trying to get going here, but they're really struggling due to those cooler temperatures. We were showing this earlier. And they're okay. Remember what I was saying? By about 11:15, we need to start seeing those low to mid 70s. Well, now we're starting to see those 70s come up a little bit. A lot more 70s on that board. That's going to be worth paying attention to. Very worth paying attention to, because if we get those temperatures up, then we're talking about a different story here. That's going to be an interesting move. What I'd like to do is bring up the satellite and show you guys if we're getting a little bit more sunshine out there. Because if we are, then this forecast changes again. It's going back and forth at this point. Sub-regional sector, go down here. Okay, yep. Starting to see some breaks in the clouds here in the low country. That could lead to interesting developments. I think some of those thunderstorms may start getting a little bit of a kick to it. See, watching from Fairplay, South Carolina. Kathy, thank you so much for joining us. North Charleston. I'm going to need these guys the week before they get to Lake City. Hey, me too. Watching from Kingstree. How will our area be? Bryant, we'll know in about an hour or two. We're coming to the main show here. This is the only opportunity between about now and 2 p.m. that these thunderstorms have to get their act together. And if they don't, then we're going to be in good shape. We're going to be in good shape. Our folks up north who have more time, unfortunately, for heating to rescue these thunderstorms, or perhaps there's a little bit more energy input in the atmosphere, so they may still see severe weather threat up there. But as far as the low country is concerned, if we can hang on here to these clouds and cooler temperatures through the next 2 hours, I would be happy to say that this severe weather threat is basically neutralized in many, many ways. But we have to make it past the next couple of hours, right? It's very cloudy out here in West Ashley. That's great. Let's keep it up. Kingstree, Angela, thank you for joining. Ridgeville, LaDonna. Monk's Corner here. Jenna, thank you so much for joining. Let's move this. I want to see if we can bring up Somerville here, see if we start seeing a little something. That's a lot of clouds to me and just rain. The rain is soaking up the energy, using up some of that CAPE, some of that fuel in the atmosphere. It's preventing sunshine from taking place. That's good news. That's good news. We like that. Pushing this forward here. Vipercast has it coming in way later this afternoon. Way later. Right now I like the HER model a little bit better, so we're going to, and Jed was talking about this as well. So this shows it coming through about 1, 2 o'clock. Now, it shows a last minute, what's the word I'm looking for? A return, a comeback, last minute comeback here. Shows these thunderstorms trying to put on a show at the last minute. But eventually they run out of time and they're shoved offshore. And it shows them really getting organized once they're out in the water, which is fine with us. We can do that all day. So by the time you get to 3, 4 o'clock, You have some maybe stronger showers with some rumbles of thunder in there, but it's done after that. It's done. We'll have some winds, maybe some gusts pushing 30 miles per hour behind the front, colder temperatures, drier air, and for your St. Patrick's Day parade, it's going to be on the cooler side. But Storm Team 2, myself, really not seeing the ingredients coming together necessary to make this severe weather threat real just yet. That's good news. Right now, Storm Prediction Center still has us at a 3 out of 5 risk, which that's high. That is high up there. I'll show you what the scale looks like. This is what the scale looks like for that. Understand severe thunderstorm risk category. So we are in the orange. Numerous severe storms possible, more persistent, widespread, a few of them intense. And we have a moderate risk for South Carolina and for portions of South Carolina and portions of North Carolina. Lowcountry is not included in that. Widespread severe storms likely, long-lived, widespread, and intense. That is a confident statement by the Storm Prediction Center of those thunderstorms. And I've seen slight days, 2 out of 5 risk days that have absolutely blown up. So the fact that we're in an enhanced risk, and so far it's taken this much time for the storms to get their act together, gives me some promise, gives me some hope here that we're going to avoid the worst of this. Bringing up kind of the watch versus warning list here. All right, so we have a tornado watch. Means that the conditions, we have ingredients in the atmosphere, but nothing's come together yet. It's not a warning. We get a warning, that's different. That's when we can start saying, hey, something is imminent. Severe thunderstorm warning means severe weather is imminent. A tornado warning means that a tornado is either imminent or already happening. Those are ones we have to watch out for. The watch just indicates that, hey, you're within the zone at this point. Is the thunderstorms headed our way? Yes, eventually those thunderstorms are headed our way. Right now we're determining what strength they're going to be by the time they head our direction, and we're looking at between 1 and 3 p.m. right now. It's very cloudy out here in West Ashley. Have you ever noticed how storms roll and split before they get to Somerville? I've always said that we were in a bubble. Seriously, I hope it dissipates. I do too. You know, the marine layer, we have cooler waters offshore right now. The water temperatures are still in the 60s. It's cool out there. Now, you have these thunderstorms coming through in the summer and temperatures are much warmer. It's a different story. But right now, we have some of those cooler temperatures. Right? Check out these wind gusts. Regardless if we have the severe weather, let's talk about the wind gusts that we're expecting as we're moving into this afternoon. So these southerly winds are going to eventually turn westerly, and as that front goes through, whether the thunderstorms are all that strong or not, we're going to be likely seeing winds 35 to 45, maybe even 50 mile per hour wind gusts. As you see up towards King Street, showing 45 mile per hour wind gusts. Once that front goes through, it shows about 6 o'clock. Once those westerly winds kick in, it's going to push out the moisture, the heat, the energy, everything that you need for the severe weather to take place. So we will be done with the severe weather threat. I'd say by about 4 or 5 o'clock. That's all going to be pushing offshore, and we'll be in good shape. Yeah, so we're gonna know one way or another soon. So what we're going to do now is bring up, again, the kind of the latest short-range models and compare to what we have right now. So short-range shows semi-organized thunderstorms moving through the low country about 1 o'clock. By the time you get to 2 o'clock, those thunderstorms become organized. So almost in the middle of moving through our area, they decide to come to life. That's what the latest models are indicating. And so maybe, Carlton County, the storms don't get organized in time. As it's going through Carlton County, you get just some heavy rain, some thunder. But then all of a sudden,
it blossoms into a severe thunderstorm, and all of a sudden you have small hail, gusty winds, and whatnot by the time it gets to I-26. This could develop very quickly. Just flare up. North Charleston, Kelson, thank you so much for joining us. Vanessa Somerville, thank you so much for joining us. So now you get those thunderstorms, regardless if they're strong, if we get severe thunderstorm warnings, what have you, by 3, 4 o'clock, they're out of here. They are moving on, and we're going to likely see things improve quickly. Now, it's going to be cold. It's one thing we're at to deal with regardless. Temperatures dropping into the lower 30s, perhaps the lower 30s. I'm being instructed to put in my IFB here. We are about to do a weather hit, and you guys are going to be joining us. So you guys will be part of that here. Buford, Melissa, I have that bookmarked. As soon as we get back from this live hit, we're about to do a live hit on TV. I'll need just some silence from myself here. So if I look like I'm just sitting here in silence, this is because we have a weather hit coming up here. And then we'll go ahead and come back to that. Goose Creek, Sandy, thank you for joining us. The radar shows some of the dry pockets the storm passes through. Yeah. So, we're about to do this live hit here. Appreciate you guys joining on with us as we do this. Jed Christoph is downstairs doing a full forecast. Yeah, Jed, we've been talking about this, and we're actually in discussions. The audience is discussing with us what we got going on, and what we're discussing right now is what you were just saying. Things are stabilizing, so the audience is getting educated right now on what's going on as the forecast is coming through. People bringing in their questions, we answer them. That's what we're doing. We're on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. We're on all those platforms. We're on WCBD Plus. And we are kind of hitting the major themes here. One of the things that we're talking about is sunshine, how important it is to these thunderstorms. And if we don't get it, you got problems with the forecast. Things not actually coming together. So we've been checking on the Somerville cam. And right now, you got these clouds moving through, right? So the audience has been chiming in, and hey, it's sunny out here. It's sunny in Colleton County. Or hey, no, we got nothing out in Somerville. It's raining and it's cloudy and it feels cool out there. So these are important storm reports. So we're getting that in, and we're getting some really good questions asking about upper level dynamics and what's going on. You can come and join us. We're talking about this at length here. And we only have a short window that we're going to be talking about this before the severe weather threat starts to move on, as Jed, you were just saying. So we're going to continue to track this through this afternoon. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me for that live hit. We were all on TV. How exciting, right? All right, so let's go ahead and let's just do an overview. Period, end of story. So last 24, 48 hours, Storm Prediction Center has been hitting this hard. Severe weather threat for the East Coast, enhanced risk to a moderate risk. That's going to be particularly for high wind gusts. Not necessarily tornadic potential, but high straight line winds. So that includes the South Carolina Lowcountry. Enhanced risk, that's pretty high for us. In fact, that moderate risk, we only get a moderate risk only once or twice in the state over several years. So it's rare to get that kind of designation from the Storm Prediction Center. The tornado threat is evident here, as being pointed out by the Storm Prediction Center. And the wind threat's the biggest thing. Here's what it has for the wind threat. Look at that 60% mark. There's only been several times in the last 20 years that a 60% wind threat has ever been issued, not in South Carolina, in the United States. So as a meteorologist, that perks your ears up, right? That you're getting these signatures from the atmosphere and that that potential is there. Now, is that potential realized? Well, I'll tell you what. You get these conditions right here with the cloud cover and these showers keeping things stable in the atmosphere. No, none of it. You can have 20 ingredients perfect in a situation like this, but if you're missing the 21st ingredient, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You need a lot of things to go right for a widespread severe weather outbreak. Now, we still have potential here. We still have about 1 or 2 hours before this cold front actually moves through. So we still have potential here. But the longer we keep these cloudy skies, the longer that we have temperatures sitting into these 60s. We were in the 70s in St. George. Now we're back in the 60s. Mount Pleasant finally hitting 72. But we needed mid to upper 70s here by right now. So I think this is already starting to chip away at that forecast. So let's go back and see if we can't answer some of those questions. Just got dark here in Goose Creek. It's raining very hard here in West Ashley. Yeah, we're getting some showers moving through. Beaufort, Melissa, let's talk about Beaufort. So Beaufort right now, if anything's going to be happening storm-wise in Beaufort, it's going to have to happen here fairly soon. Like fairly soon. We're going to have to see that move through in the next hour because that cold front's about to come through. And right now you got temperatures in the low to mid 60s out that direction. That you're not getting, I don't care who you are, you don't have those warm temperatures and sunshine in these kind of conditions, you're going to struggle with your storm modes. You're going to struggle with getting upward motion in these thunderstorms. You might get some elevated thunderstorms way up here in the atmosphere, but not the base to top strong supercell storms. You're just not going to get it. And that is good. We like that. Now, the dew points are high. Somerville's at 68. So there's plenty of fuel. That's fuel. That is the moisture that is required for a day like today, if you're looking at that severe weather threat. But without the temperatures to make that moisture buoyant and get it up to the upper part of the atmosphere and activate it, doesn't matter. So we're looking good as far as that. Let's talk about what we have as far as our storm reports. Now, we still have, at this hour, so this is why I'm not completely sold on this just yet, on this being a forecast bust, right? We still have tornado warnings popping right now in southern Georgia. And that heat still has time. It still has time to make it up before that front passes through. That window is closing fast, but technically the door's still open. Let me do something. Let me go ahead and get rid of the reflectivity here. So I can just show you, clear all this out, clear out the lightning, and I'm going to go ahead and pause things. We're just going to show you the warnings. There is not a single severe thunderstorm warning in the entire state of South Carolina right now. We have tornado watches, but the tornado watch has been canceled for areas of Augusta, Columbia, state capital. No more tornado watch. Orangeburg, you're still in it. Greenville's out. Rockville's out. The Midlands are starting to get moved through by the cold front, and so they're done. Their severe weather day is over already. And places like Columbia got maybe some heavy rain and some lightning. And that was it. They had a more active day last Thursday out of that. Now, we're getting some heavy rain right now. We still have a chance to make up these numbers. Just because that happened in Columbia doesn't mean that we'll get that lucky, but it's encouraging. It's encouraging. So we have tornado warnings down in Tift County, Georgia. Severe thunderstorm, lots of severe thunderstorm warnings, and that's going down in southern Georgia and portions of the Panhandle of Florida. But you go up to South Carolina, and it's quiet for now. Now, North Carolina, going up through Baltimore, they got severe thunderstorm warnings. They've issued, I think, on the line of 10 tornado warnings for North Carolina already. They had one in the east side of Charlotte earlier this morning. So there was a lot of buzz about that. Turn the reflectivity back on here. And it's a mess. It's a mess. Not a bad sign at all. So that really takes down a severe weather threat. It's not zero yet. We still have some time to make up on this, but we're still good. Let's see. All right. Hello from downtown Walterboro. Hey, Courtney, thank you for joining. Anthony says, let's not blow it out of proportion. It's not that bad. Yeah, I would agree with that wholeheartedly. That is a good synopsis. Right now, it's not that bad. We don't have a single severe thunderstorm warning in the entire state right now. Brant, what do you think could happen with these bridges if high winds like 60 to 70 mile per hour winds? Okay, let's say we do achieve a severe thunderstorm warning with 60 to 70 mile per hour winds. They likely won't last very long as the thunderstorm comes through. And by the time they made the motion, okay, we're gonna close the bridge, it's already done, it's moved on. I haven't heard any indications of any bridges closing. Nothing. I haven't heard nothing about that. If there is something that's been reported, it's on counton2.com. If there's any sort of official word about that, that will have been reported on counton2.com. So go to that, check that. There's been some school delays, closures, what have you, or there's teacher days in some districts. All that stuff. Check online because that's where we check our verified sources first, and then we post. Right? We're not going to go to Bob's Facebook page to find out what's going on. We get it from the source. So if you want to verify that information, you can go on counton2.com. No offense to Bob. I'm sure he's a nice guy. So looking down towards Somerville and Charleston, Bob's a made-up name, by the way. Hope there's no Bobs out there that's posting stuff like that. Charleston going up through the coastline. We do have wind advisories. It's something that's been kind of looked over. We do have a wind advisory, all right? That goes till what time? What time, folks? 8 p.m. That's beyond when the cold front comes through. So we're expecting gusty winds, at least gusts pushing 40, maybe 45 miles per hour through this evening. They're about 8 p.m. Now, they may let that expire at 7 or whatnot, but so the gusty winds may stick around even after that front goes through. So that's a possibility. Something we will keep in mind. Here's this line of showers and thunderstorms that just moved through Johns Island, James Island, just moved through downtown Charleston. We just got a little bit of it here. I mean, it's trying, but it's nothing more than a summer shower at this point. And I don't think there's even a lightning bolt with it. It's trying. There's just nothing. There's nothing to grab onto in the atmosphere. The heat is just not there. And you got these little thunderstorms that are popping up ahead of the line up in north of Ridgeland, west of Carlton County. It's trying, but it's just not coming together like it needs to if we are looking at severe weather potential. And that's good. These storms are straight struggling right now. Another temperature check. I'm going to check this every 5 minutes. 64 degrees, and that is 66 in Johns Island. I'm going to get nothing from that. Current dew points. It's 70. The dew points are there. Dew points are there. That's enough for strong thunderstorms. We have met that metric with our dew points. But that's only one of the many ingredients you need. We have a strong jet stream. We have high wind gusts being recorded across the area. The energy is here. We're just missing, the one thing that may completely derail the severe weather threat, clouds. That's it. Just cloudy skies. Can derail just that one thing, derails the whole concept. So we had 18 out of the 20 ingredients in place, and that's why you have these outlooks here that show, that moderate risk. But, if you're missing one of the ingredients, it's not going to pan out. Sun's out in Hanahan. Uh-oh. Sun is out in Hanahan. Winds seem to die down slightly too. Ryan, believe it or not, that's an important update. Sun is out in Hanahan. Okay. Because we still got 2 hours to go. Remember, we're not done yet. I know we're even I'm putting a little damper on this, and that's optimism you're hearing from me. That's optimism. If we can continue this theme, we're going to be in really, really good shape. Really good shape. Notice that. We got downtown Somerville, and it's looking pretty good right now, right? We got cloud cover. It's keeping things cool, and we like that. That is a good development, and we're going to try and keep it that way. There we go. Got to make sure some of this stuff is playing right. There we go. Some behind-the-scenes works. Hello from Pineland. Janie, thank you so much for joining. It's supposed to be bad in Jasper County, South Carolina. At this point, if the front has already passed you, then you should be good to go. I think Jasper County has actually had its tornado watch expire, or it's been allowed to expire at this point. Sun out in Walterboro. Brenda, thank you for that. Okay, so Walterboro and Hanahan reporting sunshine. See how important this is? See how important you guys are? We can put out all the cameras we want, but what do you think about Hampton County, South Carolina at the moment? I think if you're up towards Hampton, anywhere outside the Lowcountry has the best chance for severe weather in the state of South Carolina right now. That's only because the front hasn't passed through and the potential is there. That's it. Is it supposed to be bad in North Charleston? So let's preface that. What's bad for one person may not be that bad for another person. I will tell you that if we reach our metrics, all of a sudden we warm up, hit those mid to upper 70s, sunshine, and we reactivate the atmosphere, this is our top concerns for today. This is the max as far as Storm Team 2 is concerned. 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible with the stronger thunderstorms. Isolated tornadoes. If you can get one of them, a supercell going, which at this point, those odds are going down. Not zero, but it is going down. If you get a supercell going, then you might see a long track tornado with that. I think we may have a few of those up in North Carolina. It's looking like it's starting to ramp up a little bit. The flood threat, we're looking at that. You just can't rule it out in the Lowcountry. You can't. If it rains, it floods around here, especially heavy rain. So there is an isolated flood threat. We're not looking at flash flooding or anything like that. Just low-lying areas, poor drainage areas. Those could flood. Isn't it supposed to be bad in North Charleston? Potentially, yes. We still have that potential. We're going to wait to make that call around 2 o'clock. If these thunderstorms have already moved through by 2 o'clock, the fronts move through, then we're done. We're done. We may get some rain and some lightning and even a few gusty winds, but none of this, all of this will be done. So that time frame for that to be possible is closing right now. Darius says, a bit cloudy where I am right now in Walterboro. Just barely any wind, just some sprinkles less than an hour ago. Thank you, Darius. Our weather gauge says 72 degrees now. Thank you, Ryan. Good morning, Gennaro. Thank you for coming back. Good to see you. Gennaro was with us earlier this morning. We were live streaming at 4:30 this morning. I don't know how many of you are back from that, but it has been a long day, an important day. There's a reason why we're doing this, because the potential has been there. So what we're going to do, so that high wind potential, this is all starting to go down. And that's good news, as long as we keep these temperatures stable. But if these temperatures start going back up, if we start getting more sunshine out there, that's going to reactivate the atmosphere quickly. Won't take much, just needs kind of a domino push at this point. Let's go ahead and look at the future cast here. So futurecast shows that, we have these thunderstorms that are struggling a little bit, and then they blossom more as we hit the 2 o'clock hour. Right as that front started to push offshore, that's when these storms get their act together. That's what the Vipercast is, and the HER model is indicating for us. But by the time it really gets its stuff together, it's offshore. So we missed the mark by about 50 miles, maybe 75 miles. We got some sprinkles in Harleyville. Thank you, Gennaro. Lynn, thank you for joining Monk's Corner. Melissa, how about Buford? No rain, just cloudy as of right now. Again, Buford, your window is closing for severe weather potential. We don't see it probably in the next hour or so. It may not happen at all. You may get some heavy rain and some thunder. That's going to be about it. Some on and off rain in Monk's Corner. Thank you, Lynn. Dickie from Pineville, thank you so much for joining. Look at the Somerville cam here. I'm not sure that we're going to have enough time for these thunderstorms. Those clouds are just not budgeting out there. Yeah, temperatures in the low 70s, still some upper 60s by noon. Monk's Corner, Kingstree, St. George, that's good news. I don't think the severe weather has a chance if we maintain this for the next hour. If we see some changes, then we can start paying attention. But you're not going to get anything with temperatures this cool. It's just not going to happen. Somerville, Jamie, thanks for joining. What about Harleyville? Harleyville at this point, you got some thunderstorms nearby, but none of them are severe at this point. Let's look at the radar. We have a tornado watch until 2 p.m. We have some thunderstorms. I mean, they're giving it their best shot right now. If any of them, we can have this can change, I'm telling you, in 2 to 3 scans, boop, 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 and all of a sudden we have a strong thunderstorm. That's how quickly, this is how much on the edge we are with this. the domino effect. You get one thing that goes, you just need one or two more ingredients to lock in, and then boom, we're off to the races. But if that domino never falls with that, that's it, you know? And these thunderstorms, they're really trying, but they're just so disorganized, they can't seem to get their act together. What about Walterboro? Walterboro, those thunderstorms aren't that far off to your west. Let's actually measure this out. So those thunderstorms only about 30, 35 miles to your west. And those winds, the actual front, which I'll draw approximately through here, right about there. And the front is slowly moving down the coast, or towards the coast, rather. And so once this front moves through, once it's out here, we're clear. So that's what we're waiting on. And the reason why I'm doing a slight pause with all of this and not just calling it off altogether is because it's still showing potential. Look what happens when you have the right ingredients in place. Severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings, multiple tornado warnings. Georgia had a confirmed tornado spotted earlier this morning. So the potential is there. Look at these thunderstorms offshore. You know, that's a good line of thunderstorms. So the system is capable of doing it. We're just in this area that's sandwiched between the front and then a line of stronger storms. Now, these storms are making their way up towards Wilmington and North Carolina, which is, by the way, where that moderate risk is most at play. And look at them. They've had, gosh, we can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tornado warnings with that. Those tornado watches are still in place, and they're issuing more of them. We have a tornado warning that just skirted by northwest of Washington and Silver Spring and Rockville and North Germantown. So that's going up towards Maryland. We just seem to be in a pocket here. So we got severe thunderstorms and tornado warnings all the way down here, then it stops, and then it restarts down here. So we're in a pocket right now of inactivity right now. Somerville. Barbara, thanks for joining. What about Walterboro? Walterboro, whatever Walterboro is going to get, I think you all are going to know in the next hour or so. It's going to be real tough for this to make a comeback at this point because the severe weather really isn't getting its act together. And Walterboro, you're up first, and then it'll slowly move to the east-southeast through the rest of the counties as we go through 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock hour. Georgetown and Murrells Inlet will probably be the last areas that see this line push through about 2, 3 o'clock, and they will have the biggest potential for daytime heating to set in. So they have the longest period of time where they could see something change the forecast here. Yemassee, South Carolina. Jane, thanks so much for joining with us. Tim out in Santee. Charleston, Tommy. St. George, Minnie, thanks so much for joining. Reading your comments, making sure I get all the questions answered that need to be answered. Sorry, 4:30 this morning. How about a sip of coffee? Somerville. Nakia, thank you for joining us. So really what we're doing here is this is a discussion. This is very much not only for our viewers on WCBD Plus that are wanting to learn more about the severe weather situation and live broadcast and seeing as we're learning and talking about it. We're on News 2 right now. Meteorologist Jed Kristoff and meteorologist Kobe Nabrid is out here and out in the field. So we got all hands on deck with this. And this portion of it is meant for you guys to ask questions real time as this stuff is happening. So that we can learn as meteorologists as well the questions that are being asked. What is it that you guys are wanting to know the most? You know, timelines and whatnot. You know, we learn from this as well. So we appreciate you being part of this. You know, even if the severe weather event ends up falling flat on its face, which in some cases it has up in the Midlands, not the case necessarily for us. We could still see something, but, you know, we're all in this process together. And the next time that we have something like this come through, I know we can count on you guys to come back and give us storm reports and get us through the next one. Yeah, Tommy, I'm looking at the radar too. It does not look lively at this point. You notice how you see a lot of yellow. It's all spread out. You're not seeing any big concentrations of red like this and purples and deep colors and any of this, and lots of green out there. It's flat as a pancake. You're not seeing any vertical development, no real solid indications on radar. It's just, you know, kind of a big mess. Augusta is getting some heavy rain right now with a couple rumbles of thunder. That's about it. These cells up in front of the line are our best chance right now to potentially have something to watch and be cognizant of. So these cells, places like right here, stuff like that. So that's north of Walterboro. That's going to be north of Dorchester County. And it's moving right along the county line, Orangeburg County, going up to the northeast towards 95. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Hi, Jamie. What about smokes? It's starting to get a little dark over here. Mariah, the good news is that we're not anticipating anything for smokes as of right now. A lot of these tornado watches have been canceled for areas north of the Lowcountry, up towards the Midlands. So that's the good news. Let's see. Just tuning in, can you give a quick recap for Somerville, North Charleston? So as of right now, we're seeing some showers pushing through, but if we don't start seeing some sunshine, we don't start seeing some warmth in the next hour or two before these thunderstorms arrive, you have the ingredients for a big wedding cake, right? And you put it in the oven and no one turned on the oven. It's not going to happen. No matter how good the ingredients are, if you can't get the sunshine and the warmth, none of it activates. And everything else was perfect about this birthday cake, right? You know, it's severe weather, so it's the worst birthday cake you probably ever had. But it's the analogy that counts here. Everything else is put together, but we're not seeing the sunshine. We're not seeing the warmth needed. These temperatures in the upper mid 60s to maybe upper 60s, they're just not cutting it. You need some low to mid 70s. And right now, we were up at 72, 73 degrees. Now we're back to 70. We got 68 degrees in Monk's Corner, 68 Mount Pleasant, 68 Kingstree. You might get a couple rumbles of thunder and some heavy rain, but that's going to be about it. With temperatures like that, you're not going to see nothing out of that. So we want that to continue. We're hoping for that. Let's see. Do you think it'll be safe to drive home from work from Somerville to West Ashley around 3 to 4 p.m.? Brooke, I believe so. I believe at this point we can have a little bit more confidence to say that that line should be through by about 4 o'clock. 3:45, 4 o'clock. If you're going from Somerville to West Ashley, I think whatever we're going to see is going to be moved through. Now, you're going to have some rain and thunder and lightning. All that's still going to be part of the forecast. But as far as dangerous weather, that moves way off to the east. So I think we see a little bit better conditions, right? Hope that answers your question. West Virginia, weather coming this way? Melanie, thank you for joining us. I can tell you right now that whatever weather you guys were going to have has already passed through. You are, for the most part, in the clear. I don't know about your snow forecast, though. I think it's supposed to get pretty cold tonight for you all. Let's see. I would not drive just for your... Yeah, so some folks are taking the cautious side with this. You know, if it was my family member who was asking me, hey, I want to go from Charleston up to Wilmington today. You could. I think you could do that. Just to play it on the safe side, have a way to receive warnings. the Storm Team 2 weather app is a way to do that. Jed Kristoff, Chief Meteorologist Rob Fowler, meteorologist Kobe Neighbord, myself, are putting our forecasts into that app. So it's an app actually manned by real human meteorologists, and we put our forecasts and our videos in that, and it's catered to the Lowcountry, ran by meteorologists who live and work in the Lowcountry. So we have a vested interest in making sure that you guys have the right information. Yes, even that one we just circled, just north of Carlton County, just not really coming through at this point. But that tornado watch, we got to remember, it goes to 2 o'clock. It goes until 2 o'clock. So we're still in the running here, and it's worth mentioning that areas just outside of the Lowcountry, plenty of severe thunderstorm warnings, plenty of even tornado warnings. And it's really active up towards North Carolina, but that's also where the Storm Prediction Center has the most impacts. Let me show you what we've been looking at all day and what the Storm Prediction Center has for us. It's like, well, why are we talking about this? This is what the Storm Prediction Center has for us today. An enhanced to a moderate risk. You get a moderate risk in South Carolina once every couple of years. So that's a big deal. Enhanced risk, you might get that a couple times a year, maybe. So it's worth paying attention to. And that's why we've been hitting this so hard. That's why we're live right now, basically waiting the results of this forecast with you guys. And we're talking about it and we're discussing it. You guys are asking your questions. I'm thinking, that's a good question. So you guys are helping me with that. Let's see. Any other cells of interest for tornado activity in the Somerville area? No, not really. It's a good question. We can check that real quick. No, these showers that are pushing through right now, we can't even call them thunder showers. There's no lightning with them. Actually, it would help if I turned the lightning meter on. How about that? Okay, we've had one lightning bolt now. We had one out of that system. But if that's what we're counting at this point, no severe weather threat right now. No tornadic potential, nothing as of right now. We're going to watch it. Okay. I'm going to bring your attention to an area that's starting to gather my interest a little bit. So, this area right here. Now, I want you to notice the difference between those cells and the surrounding. See how it's all kind of blotchy and yellow and looking flat? And these are a little bit more concentrated. You have actual cells in there, organized thunderstorms in there. That's interesting. So I'll be paying attention to that. Now, these thunderstorms right here, it's kind of eating up the fuel in the atmosphere ahead of this line. So that's good. So this is eating up a lot of the energy as it moves off to the northeast. What I think we should be paying attention to is whatever we got going on down here, because that's eventually going to be moving up into the low country, right? What about 7 p.m.? Good. Sorry, I haven't been checking questions. Let me do that real quick. We're live on YouTube and Twitch and Instagram and all that, so we're wanting to make sure that we're doing that properly. Right? Let's see. What's the app name? I missed that. I'm new to the area. Thank you. Hi, Vanessa. The app name is the Storm Team 2 Weather app. Here we go. I'll give you a picture of it. So this is the Storm Team 2 Weather app. If there are weather alerts being posted, if there's a warning, if there's a watch, if there's lightning in your area, it'll let you know. Heck, you can put the notifications on there to tell you that it's raining 10 miles from you. Now, I'm not sure you'd want that, if it's the middle of the night, right? So some people like to have those notifications on, but you can go in, you can change the notifications, turn off anything you don't want to bug you on there. It's really, really a convenient app. And it's something you learned, it's a tool, it's something you learn how to use over time. And it's it's been very good. I use it. I use it to, get some basic weather information in the mornings before I make it to the office where I have access to all the models and the data here. I have my own personal radar. And it's free. Not for me, for you guys too. So it's a free app. Any hail right now? If there is hail, Wendy, it's pea-sized hail. We're talking tiny stuff. Makes a lot of racket, but that's about it. Not really doing any damage. So that's good. So all the severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings up in central North Carolina, those are starting to die off too. Interesting note. So the only area that seems to be really, really active is southern Georgia and the panhandle of Florida at this point. But that's where some of our thunderstorms are coming from at this point. So we can't rule us out just yet and keep us in the safe zone. Watching from Goose Creek, South Carolina, about to go to work. I live on the second floor apartment, have a big walk-in closet. Should I keep my pup in there while I'm working till 9? Madison, I'll tell you that our window for severe weather potential is rapidly closing. Could we have a spot severe thunderstorm warning before this is all said and done? Yes. I think that potential is still there. I think that potential is there all the way through 2 o'clock. And for Georgetown County and Williamsburg County, I'd say 3 o'clock. But that window is very much closing at this point. So that's all I can tell you. What I want to try and do is empower you with information and make the choice rather than tell you what to do one way or another. But that's what we have. That cluster of storms in Georgia is what I've been watching. It's produced a few tornado warnings earlier. Yes, it has. Yes, it has. So that's been an active cluster. It's been quiet right now. It's been acting pretty quiet right now, but we'll see as it moves up into our area. All right, you guys have been awesome. I appreciate you. Good questions. You guys are telling me your location. I can't tell you how much I really appreciate that. Sometimes people miss that, like, I want to know what's happening at my house. It's like, well, where's your house? You guys are right on it. 70 degrees in Georgetown, 70 degrees in Charleston, 72 in Walterboro. So we're seeing some low 70s out there, but nothing really above that. High temperatures were expected to be in the mid to maybe upper 70s. So this is a drop down from that. So as we get towards... Hi, Jackie. She says, so is it like gonna storm? Depends on your definition of a storm. At this point, the severe weather threat, we're expecting, 70 mile per hour wind gusts, maybe, a tornadic potential. That window is closing. Right now, we may just be looking at your typical thunderstorms, non-severe thunderstorms. All these thunderstorms right now through most of the state of South Carolina are non-severe. They're just thunderstorms at this point. So what we're going to do now is we're about to be live on TV, so you guys can be a part of that. I'm going to be silent for a little bit. It's going to look a little awkward, but I'm just waiting for boxes to come up. And then once we're done with that and we get through the intro of the show, then I can go back to the stream. So you guys are going to be joining me for that real quick. And I'll read your messages while we're waiting for the show to start. All right. Thanks, guys. All right, so we were just on TV just for a little bit there. All right, so the cluster of storms in Georgia is what I've been watching. Yeah, so we're still in the running here. The window's a little bit tighter right now. So we have until about 2 o'clock before the time runs out on these thunderstorms and the front pushes through and all that gets pushed out. So the Storm Prediction Center, which is based in Norman, Oklahoma, has pretty high risk factor for today. Enhanced risk. You get a moderate risk. It's about, for the state of South Carolina, you get that once every couple of years around here. And the main factor they're looking at is the wind threat. It's not a tornado threat. It's a wind damage threat. So they have it in the 60% category here. Which, by the way, that 60% mark has only been used a couple times in the last 20 years. So they saw something. So that's why that forecast has been so pertinent today. The hail threat was never really there. It's kind of in the lower end of things. Quarter-sized hail, if that, and that's still, it's still in the cards. And that tornado threat is still there. We still have about 10% chance there. And that's been since yesterday that metric has been in place. The sun is out. Caitlin Brown says the sun is out in Mount Pleasant. Okay. That, at the very least, piques my curiosity. It looks like we're starting to get some clearing here. Callie says, so for Kingstree, what are we looking at? So Kingstree right now, you're getting some heavy rain. And the front's going to pass a little bit later for you all. So it's going to be more of a 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock timeline for you all out there. For places like Carleton County, it may be as soon as 1 o'clock when that line eventually pushes through. So we're keeping an eye on it. This is gonna come down to the wire because we're going to reach peak heating for the day about 2 o'clock, and that's when we're expecting this to be right in the middle of moving through our area. So it's going to be a tight race, and it may end up falling over before it even gets to the finish line as we get into this afternoon, which would be great news. Yeah. Now, and in April, to that point, it's okay. It's okay to be this. This is important stuff. These forecasts are important stuff. People are making decisions based upon this. Really, really important stuff. Spending time, money, resources, businesses, schools, based upon these forecasts. So, this is an emotionally charged issue. We know that. We're very aware of that. So when we put these forecasts out, you're given a percentage saying, hey, this is a percentage chance that this is going to happen. And you either don't tell people or you tell people. And today the parameters were extreme. We had 19 out of the 21 ingredients in place. But you don't have that one or two ingredients, it falls apart. And having that said, there's still time. There's still time, at least for the Lowcountry, for this to cause a few problems. So we're watching it optimistically cautious, or cautiously optimistic. Use that term. Abby, the radar being used by the Storm Team 2 app, it's a U.S. radar. Let me show you the app that it's using. So it shows them a little bit more organized because the resolution is a little bit different. It shows those reds in there. This is our reflectivity from the Barron model. So this is going to be maybe a little bit different than what's on the app. Appreciate you getting the app. Yeah, sometimes, yeah. So for the King Street, what are we looking at? Sorry, I got interrupted with that. So Callie, if we continue to see these showers continue to move through the northern portion of Williamsburg County, that's going to sap that energy. And you have more showers, I mean, just to your west. I mean, right now, Augusta, Orangeburg, they're getting some of those showers and thunderstorms as of right now. That's a pretty good cluster that's starting to come together near Fairfax. We're going to keep an eye on that one. Doesn't take long, does not take long at all. That was in 2 scans. So this is what we're watching right now. Right there. A little bit of something coming together there. So we'll keep an eye on that. Because even though these thunderstorms don't look all that large or tall or whatnot, there is a lot of zip in the atmosphere today. So you get anything with any sort of vertical development and the upper level winds catch it, it's going to spin them up. Not all rotating thunderstorms produce tornadoes. In fact, the vast majority of rotating thunderstorms don't produce tornadoes. Having that said, a lot of our thunderstorms, if they do mature, will rotate, and some of those could prompt those warnings that we were talking about. Now these thunderstorms, look at this. As they're pushing through eastern, just east of McClellanville, they're starting to get organized. Just south of Georgetown here, as you are pushing out, just east of McClellanville, starting to get the heavier showers. Chief Meteorologist Rob Fowler has just entered the building. So it's thunderstorms trying to make something of this at the last hour. Starting to get some isolated thunderstorms, a little bit more organized. Few lightning bolts there as it's crossing the Savannah River. It's getting dark again in West Ashley. What should we anticipate in Somerville based upon what you're seeing? Right now, I think in Somerville, it would be easy to assume that we're going to see thunderstorms regardless. We are going to see thunder and lightning and moderate to maybe heavy rain. That's happening regardless as we get towards this afternoon. What we're determining now is what strength we're looking at. And as of right now, it looks like the strength meter is going down as of right now. So Somerville, I'd say 1:30, 2 o'clock. For that main line to push through. You may get some storms before that, but the main line doesn't go through until that 1, 2 o'clock hour. Yeah, Caitlin saying the sun is out in Mount Pleasant. Lindsay from Nexton, thank you so much for joining us. So Jackie, to answer your question, I'm sorry, I interrupted you with my own thought. As you asked that. So is this going to storm? So we're going to see some heavy rain and some thunder and some lightning. That's the baseline of what we're going to see. If we can see things change a little bit here in the next hour, we could see a dramatic shift. We could see the thunderstorm activity start to ramp up and get organized and cause a few problems. We're still within that timeline. Now that door is closing. That opportunity for those thunderstorms to be severe is starting to close, and we're almost done. It's almost out. Right? How about Monk's Corner? I'm in school and have an hour drive north of Charleston at 4:30. If it's at 4:30, I think you're actually being in pretty good shape. I think most of this is, you might get some heavy rain at that point, but the front that's responsible for a severe weather threat will be moving on at that point. That'll be out towards, if anything, Georgetown County, kind of Horry County, up that direction and moving offshore at that point. I think you're in the clear by that point. Is that fair? Now the traffic, can't guarantee anything with that, but what will happen on Johns Island today? Carter, so good question. I think Johns Island really depends if again, this sunshine and this warmth shows up in the next hour. If we don't get this sunshine coming out here in the next hour, severe weather threat just flat lines at that point. And we're talking about maybe some moderate to heavy rain and some thunder showers pushing through with some gusty winds at times, nothing like 70-mile-per-hour winds, but some gusty winds as the front moves through. And that'll be sometime in the next 2 hours, probably closer to about 1:30, if that's fair. Tonia from Florence, thanks for joining us. Dawn, outlook for Walterboro. Walterboro, you got those thunderstorms right on your doorstep right now. Remember that cell we were looking at? Starting to get a little bit more organized? This is the kind of stuff that we are on the lookout for. See how it was really disorganized, and now you got this healthy cell that's come together? It's passing 321. It's about to pass Highway 601 here just south of Bamberg. It's starting to get a little bit more organized. So that's going to be worth paying attention to here next 20 minutes or so. Now that's right on the Carleton County, Allendale County line. It's going to be moving up towards Orangeburg County, likely moving to the northeast, but that shows that the atmosphere still has some tricks up its sleeve. Not quite done yet. Got this little cluster down here. It's trying to be something here. Trying to be something. It's struggling, though. So that's going to be west of Ridgeland, northwest of Beaufort. What are you thinking for Hollywood area? Joe, thank you for joining. Hollywood right now, you do have a wind advisory. So there you go. Here's Hollywood right here. So you notice that we're free of the rain right now. Here's Hollywood. A lot of the showers and thunderstorms about an hour to your west right now. It's far out that direction. But if we are looking at the potential for strong thunderstorms, we'll need to start seeing a little bit more sunshine, a little bit more warmth before this is all said and done. Let's see these temperatures. Okay. 73 in Walterboro, 73 for Somerville. We're starting to see those temperatures come up a little bit. It could not come a minute too soon. If you're thunderstorms right now and you're wanting to mature, you need these temperatures to be higher. And it's starting to move up a little bit. I'll give it some credit. It's moving up a little bit. Not by much, but enough where, we're starting to watch it a little bit more. Let's check out the Somerville cam. Okay, a little bit more sunshine out there. You notice a little bit more sunshine. How about West Ashley? Paige, welcome. Thank you for joining us. So West Ashley at this point, we're looking at basically about 1:30 for that line of thunderstorms to move through. And you will know when the front has moved through. You're going to get some rain ahead of the line, some rain behind the line, and in that area of rain, you'll know when the front passes. The winds will start coming out of the west, and it's going to be a cold wind. It'll be a lot colder. Temperatures will drop behind that front. What's the expectancy for Walterboro, Sharon? So that's going to be to the west of you guys. And we have a few thunderstorms we're watching. None of them are in line for Walterboro as of right now, but that's a good cell right there. Just east of Allendale County. It's in northeastern Allendale County. It's getting to Orangeburg County. These are the stuff that we're watching out for now. And there's a boundary that's hanging out right about there. So we're going to keep an eye on that. That's the best looking thing I've seen all day. It's not that great, but it's the best we've seen all day. Starting to see a few more thunderstorms trying to gather here. The main line, some of the volatility right now is still in southeast Georgia, right here. It's slowly making its way east, that general line. And these clusters of showers and thunderstorms, these are coming up as well. So we still have some time to go. Hey, Pamela, thank you for joining us. Monk's Corner near Cypress Gardens Road. Thank you so much. Monk's Corner could get a few thunderstorms. So we are actually going to be live here on TV once again here in the next 30 seconds to a minute here. And so there'll be some silence beforehand, and then I'm going to do a TV hit, and then we'll be back towards the stream once again. Heard. Thank you. So it'll be about one minute till we hit that TV hit. So go ahead. I'll continue reading your guys' comment. If you have any questions, go ahead and put it in the comment section. Let's see the Jets forecast. Hey, Jed, yeah, we've been watching and listening to your forecast, and, I'm talking with Pamela from Monk's Corner, Sharon from Walterboro, I got Fred from Lincolnville, we got folks from Somerville and Kingstree, and the good news is that we have a lot of this rain that's really not getting organized, but we're on sunshine watch at this point. We're seeing if those temperatures are warming up, because that's going to be the key to this whole thing as we head towards this afternoon, as you've been discussing. And right now, those current temperatures starting to come up a little bit, right? Low to some mid-70s trying to peek in there. Somerville's showing some signs of maybe some sunshine coming through. That severe weather outlook's still out there. So we've been doing radar analysis. So I've been taking comments and questions about the forecast. And what we're going to do is we're going to continue to do that. If you have questions, come on to the stream. Make sure that you're getting the full forecast in your news from News 2. But we're going to be here streaming this as this thunderstorm threat comes through. We are watching one thunderstorm here that's kind of up towards Walterboro. That's going to be an interesting one. So the chat and us and everyone on the stream is keeping an eye on things here in the studio. Perfect. All right. Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate that. Very patient. All right. So let's look at the bigger picture here. We got severe weather all the way up through northern Pennsylvania at this point. Several tornado. We've had probably about, I'd say in total 25 tornado warnings, maybe 30 tornado warnings out of this system since about 4:30 this morning. And that started with southern Georgia, and it's moved through. We had a tornado warning in the upstate of South Carolina. Just east of Greenville, we had a report of a roof blowing off in Gaffney. So there's been some damage reports out of this. Not widespread, though, at this point. Haven't gotten any reports out of North Carolina yet, but a lot of those severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings have since dissipated. There's no more severe weather warnings other than the watches in place for North Carolina. So they're going through the same thing we're going through right now. The one place that seems to be overachieving at this point is southern Georgia. Look at all the lightning out of this system going through the panhandle of Florida. So you got big boomers going through that section of the severe weather line. And look, we got these boomers offshore. These are producing some big lightning, right? Just offshore. Somerville here. No sun here. Thank you, Lori. Carlton County, Miranda. What can we expect and when? if you're out in Colleton County, in the next hour, we're going to have that cold front move through. And if the thunderstorms don't start getting their act together here in the next hour, you're losing that heat of the day. And that front, once that comes through, it's taking away your heat, your moisture, your favorable winds, and the severe threat is over. You could see some showers and some rumbles of thunder and some gusty winds as we get into 3, 4, 5 o'clock this evening. But the severe threat is going to be done as that front goes through. If you're ahead of the front, there's still potential. If you're behind the front, it's done, and you are good to go. I think by 5 o'clock, the entire area, South Carolina Lowcountry that's covered by News 2, will be clear of this severe weather threat. So we'll be done with that. Somerville resident, but out of town, what are we expecting in terms of wind? So we could still see some gusty winds even without thunderstorms. Notice we have wind advisories that go up to Somerville. That's until 8 p.m. So that's a wind advisory. Everywhere you see in the tan is wind advisory. So that's Seabrook Island, Hollywood, Folly Beach, James Island, Charleston, Ondaw. As you get down towards McClellanville, Georgetown County also has a wind advisory, but they are out of the Wilmington National Weather Service office, and so they have a slightly different forecast. That wind advisory expiring at 7 p.m., so just an hour earlier for those guys. So that's what we're looking at. Appreciate all your questions. Appreciate you guys participating with your storm reports, and even if it's a storm report of sunshine or clouds, that's a big factor at this point. If we don't start getting some sunshine, that's going to really dampen and could even in many ways eliminate the severe weather threat. But we start seeing some sunshine, we start seeing those temperatures get up in the low to mid 70s, well, then you're looking at something else, right? And those temperatures right now starting to come up a little bit. A lot of us were in the 60s. Now we're in the lower 70s. Some of those low to mid 70s, and that's pushing it, saying mid 70s, because it's only 73 right now. But if I start seeing some 75, 76, 77 degrees, okay, then we can start talking about maybe more potential for these storms. We're not seeing a whole lot right now. I see a few areas that we're watching that have some potential. We got this cluster southwest of Orangeburg and south of Bamberg. I mean, this is, first lightning bolt just came out of that. So the factory is running on that. Watching this one right here. This is going to be just about, 26, 27 miles northwest of Walterboro. And it's traveling, I'd say, east-northeast at about 30 to 40 miles per hour. So it's going to be coming up south of Orangeburg. So Bowman, Branchville, Reevesville, Harleyville, maybe needs to keep an eye on that. I think it'll pass just to the north of Harleyville. But these are the ones we're keeping an eye on because that has sustained itself for several scans now. It seems to be gaining a little bit of momentum here. So that's worth paying attention to. As far as the base velocity is concerned, this is what we're measuring here is wind direction. And if we're seeing any rotation with that. And right now, not seeing anything impressive out of that. I am seeing some gusty winds, though, out of that. Let's see, do a pixel query here. So we're seeing gate-to-gate shear. Okay. All right. So let's do a pixel query right here then. Okay. So some gusts pushing somewhere between 25 and 35 miles per hour in front of this storm as it's pushing into Colleton County. So we actually have a wind gust, even though the radar, the reflectivity isn't showing. See that light green area right there? This is going to be an important point. That little line right there that's moving to the southeast, that's some gusty winds. I bet you can get some 40-mile-per-hour gusts out of that. That's pushing into Colleton County right now, western sections of Colleton County. So this is going to be a wind gust moving out of the thunderstorm that has detached itself from that storm, Probably it's just moved through Earhart, so we're looking at Lodge, Bells Crossroad, Ruffin Williams, Caldwell, Paget, Smokes on Highway 21 there. And this is that line. You see, it's right over Earhart right now. Can you see that? That's your line of gusty winds. That's pushing into Carleton County now. So whether there's a thunderstorm or not, looks like that thunderstorm was able to pull down some higher wind gusts from the upper part of the atmosphere. So we're going to keep an eye on that as that pushes to the southeast. I'd say in the next 30 minutes, that's going to be in Walterboro. And we'll see if that sustains its wind speeds or not, but that's moving off to the southeast. Some sun peeking out in Somerville. Thank you, Corinne. What about the mile-per-hour wind for Walterboro? Wind for North Charleston. So these areas right now, we're not seeing much at all as far as wind gusts. We have some sustained winds that are, maybe 15 to 20. We're starting to get some sustained winds out there as the front gets a little bit closer. These southerly winds are picking up just a little bit. Let's go ahead and bring back the reflectivity here. Yeah, because that's starting to come together a little bit. That's not just that, that's becoming more organized. So that's worth watching. Let's keep an eye on this. Yeah, it's got some good signatures on it. So as of right now, that's moving just to the south of Orangeburg. This is not severe warned, but it has my attention. We're starting to see some organized thunderstorm activity up here north of Swainsboro and a little bit towards Vidalia here. That's going to be pushing up towards Statesboro and the Savannah River. We have a few thunderstorms that are trying to make something of themselves as they're crossing the Savannah River, but they're really just not surviving the journey. We got a couple lightning bolts out of some cells moving towards Ridgeland. It's just off of 95. That's going to be to the northwest of Beaufort, but not seeing any big potential as of right now out of those cells. But I'll tell you what, that main line, it's holding off. It's not moving through the low country. It's not really advancing. So that gives low country more time to accumulate heat, accumulate energy, and accumulate potential. So that's what we got going on. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments section. As of right now, no severe thunderstorm warnings for the entire state of South Carolina. No severe thunderstorm warnings for the entire state of North Carolina. We got lots of lightning with these storms just offshore. That's staying out that direction. We have lots of lightning with these storms in southern Georgia that are pushing up into the Empire Coast. Hinesville, Savannah, probably getting some of these thunderstorms here in the next hours or so. Several hours or so. So far, so good. Sip of coffee here. So we're going to keep an eye on this. Even we're going to stick with this till this front comes through. Because right now it's very timid, and it could end up that this colder weather and the cloud cover just saps the energy of this system altogether. We can't say that just yet. So I know that as soon as I say, okay, well, you know what, this is done and everyone can go home, something's going to happen. Because that's how Mother Nature works, Murphy's Law, right? So we're going to keep an eye on this. The tornado watch for Carleton County and Dorchester County. So these aren't warnings, they're just watches. At this point, I think we're going to continue to see these thunderstorms just out of the periphery. Do you think we'll have any power outages in Carleton County? It's hard to say at this point. At this point, if it continues the way it's going right now, no. Not likely going to be seeing that. If you see a little bit of growth out of these thunderstorms in the next hour or so. Yeah. What I'll say is that the tornado watch issued by Storm Prediction Center goes until 2 p.m. So that's worth noting, and by the National Weather Service. Yeah. So we're gonna likely have to stay on top of these thunderstorms until they have safely moved offshore, because we're only missing one or two ingredients. We have we're gonna be rooting for these clouds to stick around here. We're gonna be rooting for it, and so far it's worked. Because if we do that, then we've shut down the severe weather potential in a big way. Yeah, Walterboro and Somerville. Somerville, you're technically in the tornado watch. So if you're in Somerville, you're technically in a tornado watch. Ridgeville, Harleyville, Cottageville, you're still in those watches. We're watching that thunderstorm south of Orangeburg. It's looking okay. It's not developing as much as I thought it would. Looks like it was trying to get a little bit. Caitlin Brown's sun is gone in Mount Pleasant. It's drizzling and cloudy. Yep. It's really struggling out there. That is good. Check out these temperatures here. Quick check here. Low 70s. Mount Pleasant at 68, but that's not going to be initiating any large-scale severe weather event for us. Amy from Somerville, thank you for joining. Kind of overcast here in the borough. Curious what the hyper-local temp is showing in Hanahan Tanner Plantation. The sun is still peeking out here. Everything is dry and the lawn crews are cutting the grass. Well, might as well get it done before the rain, right? So they probably have about another hour before any large-scale rain starts coming through, unless the radar decides to do a 180 at this point. I'm not thinking we're seeing that right now. Yeah, large-scale showers and thunderstorms. Even those warnings in Douglas area, Waycross, in southern Georgia are starting to kind of fill in here. As we head towards the midday hour, I do not see a single severe thunderstorm warning for the entire state of North Carolina or South Carolina. Even Georgia is starting to falter here. We only have one more warning left, and that's all the way down towards Tallahassee. It's basically leftovers from a severe thunderstorm warning that's in Tallahassee right now. Now, granted, that's putting out some major thunderstorms. Look at this. It is snowing right now in Birmingham, Alabama. There's no doubt that this system is extremely powerful, bringing blizzard-like conditions to the northern plains. You got snow in Chicago, snow at the Great Lakes. You got severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings going all through Maryland, even portions of Pennsylvania. We had a bunch of them in portions of Virginia, North Carolina, but those have started to let up in a big way. So now you get into the Orangeburg area, and that's basically our only cell that we're watching with any sort of scrutiny. Even that is starting to show some signs of not being able to hold itself together. The reason why I'm holding on, we're continuing this stream, is because I know the second that I say, you know what, I think we're okay. Until that cold front goes through, we cannot close the door. I want to be able to slam the door on this and say, we are done. And we're getting to that point, but not quite yet. Not quite yet. We're not quite there. Unfortunately, we need a little bit more time. We need that front to move through. And it's almost here. I mean, we're really close at this point. I mean, could you imagine if all this was onshore? I mean, this is a cluster of showers and thunderstorms, very powerful storms just offshore. But it's not here. Wilmington getting some showers and thunderstorms. Those are starting to fall apart as well. And if you notice the Orangeburg storm here, and I'll put a pause on the loop so we can get a little bit of a closer look at it. Really not much to it. We got Branchville, Bamberg. You're probably getting some few rumbles of thunder, some pretty heavy rain for places like Bamberg and Branchville. Eventually, Bowman seeing a little bit. I get the full picture here, what I'm looking at. So that's Roseville, Bamberg, Branchville. And it's worth paying attention to. Yemassee, South Carolina. Roxy, thanks so much for joining. How long after the storm passes is this temperature going to drop, and what is the expected temperature for this evening? Temperature's getting down into the low 30s tonight. If you're inland, we could easily see temperatures in the low 30s tonight out towards northern Dorchester County, portions of Berkeley County, looking at Colleton County, Williamsburg County, Georgetown County, and Charleston County. In fact, I think could see even those mid-30s tomorrow morning. That's going to be with a stiff westerly, northwesterly wind. Got some cold temperatures on the way, and we got snowpack up in places like Chicago and Illinois, and we're going to get some snow likely in the higher elevations of the Appalachians, and that'll help that cold transfer, and we'll have some colder temperatures by tomorrow morning. Yeah, we're not seeing much of that action down in southeastern Georgia. But that front is part of the reason I think is because the front is stalled. Really hasn't moved all that much. Has not moved almost at all. So once it starts to move again, it'll pick up a little bit more. But it's stalled out at this point. Not seeing much at all. That's Rob checking in on us. Meteorologist Rob Fowler is in the building. He's going to be analyzing this as well. Meteorologist Kobe Naprid is here. He was doing live coverage on News 2 from the field. Waynesboro getting a little bit of heavy shower there. So if you're on 26, I'll tell you this. If you're on 26 southeast of Orangeburg, you get some heavy rain moving through right now. Heavy, heavy rain. And that could continue. You could probably have some flooding issues starting to this area right here over the next 20 minutes or so. I think you could start seeing some flooding issues out of that. Highway 21 up through Orangeburg, you probably got the flashers on. You're probably going pretty slow with that system. So I appreciate everyone that's joined up. Everyone's been asking questions and letting us know where you're watching from. Appreciate it. Wind advisories, just for count here, goes until 8 o'clock this evening, and that could actually extend, or rather, they could expire that early if that front decides to move through a little bit quicker. But it's pretty slow. That front is not coming through anytime soon. So we'll see when that does come through. Here's the Storm Prediction Center. They've changed it. The Storm Prediction Center has updated our outlook. What do you notice? The entire state, the entire southern half of the state of South Carolina was in an enhanced risk. That has been majorly adjusted. So now, the only counties that are included in that is going to be Berkeley County, Williamsburg County, Georgetown County, and eastern sections of Charleston County. So basically, if you cross over the Ravenel from downtown Charleston into Mount Pleasant, you're driving into an enhanced risk. If you're going the opposite direction, you're driving into just a slight risk. So National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center has seen enough evidence. They have seen the evidence They've seen the clouds, they've seen the cold temperatures, and they're saying, not looking like a big day severe weather event for folks west of 26. But it's interesting to note that they left it in place for Berkeley County and for 26, for that matter. Anywhere east of 26 and south of 95 still has potential here into this afternoon for severe weather. That is an interesting mark. Let's look at the tornado threat. They have collapsed that tornado threat. Still non-zero, but they've pushed that way. They took away the 15% altogether. They've pushed that, moved that to Florence and Myrtle Beach and areas east of Charleston. See the wind damage threat. They still have that very high category for eastern North Carolina. So the ingredients are still there. They're keeping that in place. And we're still all in the red. So wind damage threat is still something that we're talking about, but not by much. That hail threat, it was always low, and they didn't have to really change that forecast. That's continuing to be a low threat for us. So that is an interesting development. So here's the updated view. So they're taking into account the fact that this front has moved past Appalachia and moved through the central portion of Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. In fact, the upstate, places like Clemson, is completely out of the Storm Prediction Center forecast. So what we want to do here is we want to try and we're going to go ahead and pull up analysis here and get things reloaded because we want to get the latest graphics put up there. So the wind damage threat, so there we go. We got, so right now I'm using 2, but I can resource it to 3. Yeah. So what we're going to do at this point, I think what's going to go on is we'll go ahead and put a pause on the live because I'm going to confer with meteorologist Rob Fowler, Chief Meteorologist Rob Fowler, and meteorologist Kobe Neighbord, and see what we want to do moving forward with these warnings, with the watches, and how we want to do the coverage. I appreciate everyone that has joined from 4:30 this morning all the way. We've been here from 4:30 this morning all the way to now about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's looking positive. It's looking good. As long as we keep the temperatures low and the cloud cover in place with these showers, we're going to avoid the big severe weather threat that was forecasted for the Carolinas. Now, we've had some damage reports in the upstate. We've had tornado warnings and tornado reports in North Carolina and all of that. But this has fallen far short of the forecasted areas of damage that we were going to see. And that's great news. It's frustrating for folks that had to change plans and whatnot. We understand that. But we had 19 of the 21 ingredients, and we missed out on the cloud cover and the showers that came through. So we're going to go ahead and put things on a pause. And if things start to build again, we'll go ahead and bring you guys back into the fold. But thank you so much to everyone who brought in their storm reports, who joined and asked good questions and stuck with us. We appreciate you trusting us with your forecast. And as these storms continue, which we will have more as we go into the season, we will continue to do this. Appreciate y'all. Be safe out there. Take it easy.